The NVGE, that's the Nottingham Video Games Expo, just happened at the weekend of Saturday 18th of July 2026, and there was a large Amstrad presence there, and it was brilliant, so I thought I would do a short video about it all. Coming up, karaoke horror. Lots of Amstrads, and we nearly had a Roland in the caves of Nottingham. But first, what is the NVGE? The Nottingham Video Games Expo is a yearly retro gaming convention held in the centre of Nottingham and has grown in size over 5 years, with an array of classic computers, consoles and arcade cabs to play on, lots of traders and special guest speakers. This year has been special because we had an entire area dedicated to the Amstrad. Roland Perry, the main engineer behind the CPC 464 and many other Amstrad computers, was the special guest star, doing a Q&A and chatting to everyone. The UKAG, that's the UK Amstrad Group, was there with loads of cool Amstrad hardware and geekery. I was there too, running a Pinball Dreams tournament on my very own childhood CPC 6128, and also in the room was a trader with hundreds of rare Amstrad games for sale. Why I've been featuring and mentioning the NVG a lot recently, the hope is this could grow bigger, spring off and become a yearly Amstrad meetup and convention of its own at some point to rival Crash and Zap Live, the Specky and Commodore events here, because the organisers of the NVGE are huge Amstrad fans, and it would be really cool to have a UK Amstrad convention in its own home country. Anyway, so let's get into it.
I've been making a man, blonde hair and tan, and it's good for relieving my sexual tension. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Pennsylvania.
Hello, who's this? Look at these reprobates. Aye aye. What we got here? When I arrived, I was very pleased to find we had a whole room to ourselves, and I set up shop here on this table. There's my 6128 running Pinball Dreams, where I hosted my tournament, which proved to be very hotly contested throughout the day. And as the morning went on, the room got busier and busier, and I think we converted a lot of people over to the Amstrad. They were very impressed by everything there. There's the UKAG and their area, where they got lots and lots of different Amstrads set up. One running Mighty Steel Fighters, a small little CPC 464 there, and lots of different Amstrads. Even a Spectrum snuck in there somehow. There's Novabug with his table, and yeah, we've got a lot of curious little Amstrads there. 6128 plus in a box, and got a gentleman here He's a watcher of the Am streams. He came up to me and told me, and he was a really, really lovely chap. He doesn't talk in the chat, but he does watch them or watch them and catch up. Look at this 6128 Plus in a box. I was really fascinated by that. Rob of the UKAG made that. There's Steph, known as Wheelie Retro. I think she's got a new username. It was really lovely to meet her. And let's move on here. Here's a gentleman taking part in the Pinball Dreams tournament. You see Tracy there on the left. She eventually won with a score of 34 million. Wow, she was playing a lot. She was determined to win. A lot of people coming back and retrying. Here's Roland's area. He had a vinyl record player, portable vinyl record player there. He was there talking to people throughout the day. Here's the last 8-bit game shop, and look at these hundreds and hundreds of Amstrad games. There was even more in boxes behind. You can find their store on eBay. Just Google the last 8-bit shop and you'll find them. Roland with his Schneider 664, very rare, and lots of like interesting items on his shelf there, and he was answering people's questions and talking to them throughout the day. One absolute legend, and we'll talk more about him in a sec. And yeah, here's the Pinball Dreams going on there. Yeah, and so yeah, we had lots of people playing throughout the day, racking up scores. Here's Novabug giving it a go and doing his best. And yeah, it proved to be a really popular tournament throughout the day, and there was non-stop players going at it throughout the day. And yeah, I think we'll do something like this again in the future. May do Pinball Dreams again. Wow. So I hope the Batman Group are really pleased seeing their game being played again. But we'll have to announce our winner. I already mentioned it. It was Tracy. Well done, Tracy. The organisers will be in touch with you with your prize if they haven't already. So congratulations, a massive score of 34,571,402. Congratulations, Tracy. We also had Roland doing a panel and chat Q&A for nearly an hour, so that was really fantastic as well. Joe from the UKAG was the host, so well done, Joe, and it was a really, really interesting talk. I'm sure the full video of that will be put up by the UKAG on their Facebook page, so look out for that. So we'll say a big thank you to Roland for being an absolute star and a lovely, lovely person, and thank you for him coming out to all these events all the time. So, what we'll do then, we'll show you the rest of the NVGE. Enjoy! And as we go back into the Amstrad action area again, which you've already seen, I think I could summarise here by saying everyone had a fantastic and really good fun time. And I think I could say the good news is they've asked us back again for next year. Hurrah! So please do consider coming down next year and making this an even bigger and better event. Who knows, this could be expanded into a proper big Amstrad convention. And afterwards, we all went out for a curry. Hurrah! Even Roland Perry joined us, and you may recognise some familiar faces there from the Amstream and the Am Squad. Now, you may remember earlier you saw a little bit of footage and I mentioned something about caves. Now, Nottingham is famous for its caves under the city, all over the city and under it, sorry. And we went to a pub afterwards. The Salutation Inn, one of the oldest pubs in the world. The building was built in the year 1240, and I frequent the Salutation Inn, or the Sal as it's known. So Jason, the landlord of the Sal, is a very good friend of mine and best mate, and I had a little word with him and said, could you give my friends a quick tour of the caves under the Sal? And he very graciously agreed, especially on a Saturday night. And so what was left of the Amstream lot, some of them had retired to the hotel, including Roland, sadly. So sadly, we're not going to get a Roland in the cave situation, which I was really gutted about. It had been a very long day. And this is a very exclusive tour. It's not one of the paid caves tour that you can get from the castle and the official one from the city centre. No, not many people get to go on this tour. So this is a very exclusive thing for the channel, and only certain people get to go on this tour. So this is good content, and trust me, it's very, very interesting stuff you're about to see. So enjoy. Thank you again, Jason from the Sal, and yeah, here we go. Enjoy. Whoop.
Well. So the steps you've just come down, if you have a look at the brickwork, it's pre-industrial revolution. So they're handmade bricks. Obviously after the industrial revolution, the bricks all ended up looking like this.
Right.
So how old they are exactly we don't know, but they are pre-industrial revolution. However, as old as they are, they're not as old as the set of stairs that are just at the side there, which is a spiral staircase cut out of the sandstone. So if you sort of like, if you've got a torch or anything, have a quick look at those. They've been bricked in, so people obviously can't get up there anymore. Do you want a light?
Yeah, give a light, Simon, if you want.
No, you've got a light. So, if you just look at the bottom, you'll see that there's the steps are made of sandstone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, directly out.
You got a cobweb on your head, mate.
Yeah.
There's a fucking moth. There you are.
Hey, as old as those ones are, they're also not original.
He wants you. He wants you
was
on.
a ramp that came down into these.
He likes you.
So, careful on this bit, because there are no handrails. Didn't invent them back then.
Yeah, mind how you go. No worries, spiders are friendly. There you go, beautiful.
Right, so, come this way, not that way.
Yeah.
Just here, there is a pit. Now, way back when it was all dug out, if you imagine coming down here by torchlight, not obviously electric torch, around your head you could see, but your feet were in darkness. So if you didn't know the cave system, you ran down here, carried on running down them stairs, that was a 10-foot pit. So you drop down, you break legs, you get left. It was a booby trap. At some point, a landlord decided it wasn't a good idea to have a booby trap under a pub, so he filled it in. Sadly, he filled it in with sand and silt. And he didn't take into consideration these are live caves, they've still got a water ingress, which is directly behind that column. If it was raining today, you'd hear the water coming in. Yeah. The water comes down, it runs into that, sand, silt, water. It's now a 10-foot tube of quicksand. Hence the rather nice, robust chain to keep it safe. So it's still a booby trap, it's probably worse than what it was. Now, this cave here, better known as Rosie's Cave. Rosie's one of our most famous resident ghosts. She was a little Victorian child. Around the age of about 6 or 7, she used to sell flowers, which was why she was called Rosie. She was struck by one of the stagecoaches when a lot of this was coaching yard. And so they brought her down here because it was quiet, it was cool, but she passed away before the doctor arrived. A couple of weeks after she died, customers started complaining about having 3, like small scratches on their arm, or something, a small child and clawed at them. Landlord at the time decided, I'm going to give her a doll. The scratching stopped, the most that anybody got then was tugging on clothing. And so it started. People bring gifts all the time. Now, some of the teddies, take for instance, that one, it looks like it goes back to the Victorian period. It's probably about 3 years old. Things rot very, very easily down here. If you look at the ceiling, there's not much of it because obviously it's very dry at the moment. You'll see little, like, what almost look like crystal cobwebs.
Yeah.
That is actually water molecules. When it gets to more wetter weather, this turns almost into a crystal cavern. You know, it looks absolutely amazing. And then obviously when it dries out, you end up with weird cobwebs all over, but it's not, it's actually the watermarks.
Yeah.
This was never used as any form of residence. This has been a guardsman's cave during the time of Charles I. So the guards used to be able to watch the stairs going up and also the tunnel that came from the castle. And it was also at one point an extension of Nottingham Castle's prison. As such, it was a case of, if you imagine being locked in here, you wouldn't have been on your own. You'd have been with however many people they shoved in. Don't see anywhere for a fire. Don't see a toilet.
Yeah.
So you're going to be eating and defecating in the same space as loads of other people. So if you were lucky enough to actually get freed, you probably didn't reoffend for a while, because it probably took you a hell of a long time to actually get over the dysentery and whatever other diseases you'd got whilst you'd been in here. So it wouldn't have been a nice experience. But so one of the weird things, Crag does this all the time. He'll move one of Rose's teddies. And he usually moves her favourite teddy, which I can't even see at the moment. It seems to be missing, so she probably moved it. Because it wanders. We've actually gone upstairs before, taken a group out, came back downstairs, and the teddy that was there that was being discussed has gone. You know, and it happens too often for it not to be, well, what the hell was going on. But usually he'll move one of her teddies. Well, if you notice the temperature at the moment, it's quite mild. It's the reason they used to brew beer in the caves, because it only ever fluctuates between 12 to 14 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why beer today is still brewed at the same temperature. It's the reason that the Midlands was one of the only areas that brewed all year round, because we had the constant temperature all year round. Everywhere else had to wait till sort of like winter or autumn or spring or whatever before they could brew. They couldn't brew in the summer, and probably winters were too cold. So, caves are carved out of bunter sandstone, which is slightly different to normal sandstone because of its water content. Very, very easy to carve. So a cave like that, you could carve in a day easily, because it's very soft. The hard part would be obviously getting it up to the surface. So, but we'll carry on. This tunnel, you can't go down anymore. The stairs are too worn, it's too dangerous, and also there's no reason for you to go down. This used to be a tunnel that went all the way up to Nottingham Castle, and it was how King Charles used to move around and hold meetings here, and they used to smuggle stuff and everything else in and out of the castle through this cave. Got told it got sealed up when they built Maid Marian because they didn't want double-decker buses going over a tunnel.
not quite true. I've actually met one of the guys, I think he was in his late 70s, who worked on it, and he said that they had no idea the cave was here until they were working and they punched through.
Yeah.
The lads made the hole a bit bigger, dropped a ladder down, they wandered up, and the first place they went was up by the castle, which had already been boarded all in, so they couldn't get anywhere. They came back this way, found out it came to a pub. They immediately put a tent round it, and every couple of hours they'd piss off to the pub and have, you know, a couple of bevies. The foreman found out what they were doing, and he had it filled in for safety reasons. So the truth is, it got filled in because the lads were pissed. Careful of this floor, very uneven. Now this part of the cave that you're coming into has been used for habitation. The latest period when it was used was World War II, because they used the lower area as a dormitory, and they were actually using this as air raid shelters, so they were living under. There's two chimneys, there's one small one here and there's a larger one downstairs. I don't think this one draws very well if you look at the state of the ceiling. These were actually incorporated into the chimney stacks when they built the part of the pub that's over this. So there was only ever 3 fireplaces on one side, but there's 4 chimneys. And on the other there was only ever 1 fireplace, but there's 2 chimneys. So during World War II they just took the capping stones off, and they could obviously keep the caves nice and warm. One of the interesting features, who's blocking the light? Step that way slightly. Yeah. I think it's you. Yes, right. So you see this large hole down the bottom?
Yeah.
We believe that what they were originally created for was to allow air into the caves. They got known as speaking tubes. Obviously, because somebody at some point went, hello, hello, you all right? I'm all right. And they realised they could talk through them. Now, they will be found in virtually every single type of cave throughout the whole of Nottingham. The thing that won't be, see the smaller hole above? Yeah. Right, that's known as a pebble drop. That tells you without a doubt that these caves were used for smuggling. So they'd have somebody up above with a small stone, they'd drop the stone, it'd come tumbling down, hit the stonework, and they knew they had to get out. So it was like an early warning system. The most interesting hole is that one. And I'll give you a clue, because I'm going to ask you what you think it is, but I'll give you a clue before I do. That's a well. What do you think that was?
Ooh. Toilet.
Into the well? Drinking water?
Something to do with the pub?
It was to do with the pub.
Ooh.
That's a well. What's in a well?
Water. To take
What?
water up.
Yeah. How did they get it up?
Buckets. Oh, small cups.
Pipe?
Sow was the very first, one of the very first buildings in Nottingham that actually had running water, because they had the hand pump upstairs, and it went straight into the well. So they used to be able to draw. Most of the hand pumps around Nottingham were all in, you know, outside the wells that were all in the roads. And when they had the Great Flood, especially Mansfield Road, all the wells got contaminated. This one's in a cave, so it never did. You know, it never got affected. But yeah, it was one of the first indoor plumbed buildings. So
Fantastic.
but have a look down into the well as we go down into the lower part. It goes down 23 metres. If you're lucky, you might see Excalibur. Well, no. Sorry, I've decided to call it Excalibur, and no one can argue with me. There is a mystical sword. There's 3 diving teams been in to try and get it. We've got photographs of it. Right, been taken from above. We've got photographs of it. No one can find it. Right. So, as far as I'm concerned, they changed the story of Excalibur. She was chucked into the well in the Sow, and unless you're the true King of England, you can't get her out. So, you know. But if you look here, you might be able to spot her. I honestly thought it was going to be a plastic sword, or, you know, from one of the theme nights or something. But It's not. It's just not there. And it's not an optical illusion either.
There you go.
Actually, don't drop your phone down.
No.
Now, if you drop your phone down there, I'm not going to get it for you.
Well, I can see some. You got a light down there. Bloody hell.
It's not. It's a reflection.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought.
There's something down there. Bloody hell.
Maybe you can see the sun.
Oh wow.
The reflection of the light is silly.
Yeah.
Is it? All right. Yeah. Wow. Look at this.
So in Nottingham there are bigger caverns than this one. However, they've all got some form of support. This is the largest unsupported cavern in Nottingham. Wow. Now, if you look there, and you look there, you'll see that at some point they decided they were going to try and excavate it and make it a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And then the ceiling fell down. So they very wisely stopped. But this cave system has been used for various things. Brewing beer. It was a tannery at one point, which was usual when it was above a tavern. You know, that's why the saying on the piss is very prevalent, because most pubs would obviously have a tannery. It's where you get sayings like pissing in the same pot and not having a pot to piss in. It's all to do with tanning terms, because goat urine is the best for curing leather. The second best is human. So obviously, if you had a chamber pot and you didn't have a lot of money, you take the chamber pot to the tanners and they buy it off you. It might give you a couple of brass coppers or something. It might buy you a lump of bread, but it'll buy you something.
Yeah.
And obviously, if one of your mates pissed in the pot, you've got twice as much money. But if you ain't got a pot, they'll fucking pour you. You don't even sell your piss. You know, it's, hence piss poor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been used for illegal cockfighting. It's been a meeting point for various groups. During the Industrial Revolution, we had a group called the Lambs that basically used to meet here, and they'd go out and smash up the new machinery that was being invented, and you know, trying to save people's jobs and whatever. So this one, you've got quite a good idea. Again, pre-industrial revolution, bricks handmade. That's the back of one of the chimneys, and obviously the chimney that they incorporated it into. How old them bricks have been there? Who knows, over 300 years. And I say to people all the time, how confident would you be standing under a brick that was laid yesterday?
Yeah.
You wouldn't, you'd have moved. They've been up there 300 plus years, and they'll probably still be up there in another 300. Now, the important thing. Charles I used to hold meetings in these caves. He was a king. These are common stones. So he wasn't allowed to sit on common stone. We all know the royals' affinity for stones. So part of Nottingham Castle's stonework was brought over, which is what that is, and that's where Charles used to sit. So in all intents and purposes, that's a throne. So if you've ever wanted to sit on a throne, now's your chance.
Go for it. Who's first?
So, yeah. To be fair, he probably had a cushion. You know, he was a
On Steve. King Steve.
Well, you only already been there, you've left your name on the wall.
Bloody hell, there's a Steve on the wall there.
So back in Pete's time, you could literally sign a book and they'd give you the key and you used to be able to come down here. I'm not going to say how many women got pregnant down here or what it was used for. It was rather nefarious.
Good Lord.
The rules all got changed after Pete decided to have, I mean, God rest his soul, he had a raid in the cave and they were having trouble lighting their, we'll say cigarettes.
Yeah.
They weren't cigarettes. But they couldn't get the lighters to work. And then they kind of went, oh, here's that. The fire brigade carried 52 people out of here with oxygen. Basically, they had no oxygen. So after that, the council went, you're not allowed to use the caves for that anymore. So, but yeah, illegal cockfighting, like I say, tannery, all sorts of things it's been used for over the years. You know, the sow itself dates back to 1240, it's been carbon dated, it's a 13th century pub. You know, there are other parts that are older, because as a working pub, it's obviously, well, I say pub, it was an inn. Pub being short for public house being when Victorian period it was very smoggy, you couldn't breathe very well. There wasn't enough taverns and inns for people to be able to go and drink, because obviously water wasn't something you drink. So the government said you could open up one room in your house, and as long as that was all it was used for, you didn't use it for anything else anymore, you could sell, you know, beer and spirits, which then was when they created the public house, because it was your house, but it was open to the public. But the sow, like I say, it's 13th century. Originally on this site, the caves were all dug out by the Saxons in the 8th century, and they built a Saxon tavern above it, which makes the sow not only the oldest in Nottingham, it's the oldest in England, as far as hostelries of any form go. The only one that really challenges this in Nottingham is the bell. Most people think it's the trip. The trip's a story. It's fairy tale. It's got no age whatsoever. The building's 15th century. It didn't become a pub until the 19th century, because there was a pub that stood on the corner where the trip is. It was called the Gate Angs Well. That was demolished in 1902. About 40 years before they turned their brew house into a pub, which is what is now the trip. It's a beautiful building. They do some fantastic food, some fantastic hours, but it's just a story. There's no truth. Yeah. The bell, however, that was Norman land, because obviously there was the wall that separated the two. And it was a Norman monastery, and they used to brew and sell mead on the side around the same time. So it's as old historically. However, the Bell became a pub that was called Horns, which burnt down, and then it was shut down as a pub in the Victorian period because the rift between rich and poor became vast. So the rich weren't going out drinking, the poor couldn't afford to drink, so pubs suffered. So they shut it down and turned it into a Victorian shopping arcade for about 30 years, and then it got restored back to being a pub. Doesn't matter whether it was 30 years or one day. The moment you stop it being a pub, that's your whole history gone, because it's about the continuity. And due to that, this is the oldest.
Sal wins.
It's also the oldest rock bar. 1954 was when the first rockers first ever came in, because there was no sign saying no leathers, no greasers, no bikers, whatever on the door. I mean, back then there was no Irish, no blacks, no what, you know, whatever they decided they weren't going to allow in. Yeah. The only one that the Sal's ever had, and it's still on the door, is no hawkers. That's the only one the Sal's ever had. So they came in, they asked the landlord, he said, yeah, you can use the upstairs room, you fuck up, you're out. And they stayed. So from 1954, this has been a rock bar, you know, and it continues to be. So, you know, and long may she carry on being such. Yeah. But, you know.
Good for the Sal. Well, hey, hey.
The only other thing I really want to show you, and you know, if you gentlemen are around, and
I want to sit in the frame quickly.
In about
To film your sound.
300 years, should we say? Pop back in. So tight. I was mixing them. Which one's?
Come on, yeah, find the holes.
Right. So this one, since they put the metal in, obviously if you feel it there, because it looks like it's a piece of, you know, like wax or melted plastic, but it's actually stone. It's actually one that's been very, very obviously early. I mean, it's probably been going on for about 200 years, but as they go, it's still very, very new.
Yeah.
So in about 300 years, pop back and, you know, have a look and see what it's like. I'll still be in.
Beautiful.
So I hope you enjoyed your tour.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you,
As
Jason.
you go upstairs, make sure you watch your heads, because as I say, it really does mess with my belly when I laugh at people too many times. But no, just head back up and just be safe as you go up.
Jason, thank you very, very much, mate. Everyone say thanks to Jason and cheers, mate. Thank you so much. Cheers, Jay.
And you will notice when you get back upstairs exactly what the air is like down here, because when you get up there, you sort of go, oh, rubbing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the air is very moist, thick. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is very moist. It's one of the problems we have all the time.
You can see why they put beer in these, because it's just a constant temperature.
Yeah. Perfect. Right, go safe.
This is better than that cave on the board. Nice it went 2 months.
Now the question is how you move it there.
Oh, a bit wobbly here.
When you drag with it, you get here, it feels really icy cold. He breathes out, you can see his breath. And he does it every single time without fail. But like I say, he always moves the telly and I think I nicked it. Or he's nicked it into the telly, I don't know, one or two.
Alright. So watch out for Rosie the ghost.
Oh, is it a YouTube ghost?
Right.
So much easier to breathe. Salutation sign. The original name was the Angel Gabriel saluting the Blessed Virgin Mary. Later changed to the old salutation. Lots of people will say ye. No such word as ye. This letter is a letter called thorn. It's not a Y. It stands for TH. So it was always the. The handshake, you notice, is left-handed. Left-handed handshake. Now, for those that are Cub Scouts or whatever back in the day, they'll remember that Baden Powell always said it's because the hand is closest to your heart. Not actually true. The reason for the left-handed handshake goes back to knights. So, being left-handed was always classed as a sign of the devil. So nobody was allowed. I can remember being at school and they were training people out of being left-handed. So it's not that older thing that they were doing it. But, so all soldiers were trained to hold their sword in the right hand. Their shield went in their left. So put your sword down, shake someone's hand, and they betray you. They've got a sword, you haven't. So they put their shield down and they shake hands. But they were still on, so they could still fight. Hence the reason. But the sleeves were something to do with Catholic apostasy. When Cromwell took over, they were Puritans. So he didn't like the sign, didn't like the name, it was too biblical. So he insisted the pub change its name. So for the period of time that Cromwell was in power, this pub was called the Soldier and Citizen. So, I mean, the story goes that during the run-up to the war, the English Civil War, which was the last of the gentleman wars. So although you could chop someone's head off, lop their legs off, gut them on the battlefield, you met them on the street, doffed your hat, good day. You were polite, because it was a polite society. God help you if you were rude, because then you were banned from all the parties and everything else, and then your missus was going to give you shit, because she couldn't go to the parties. Wasn't much of a life, you know, sort of like nightlife, so the parties were a big thing. The saying in here was that Charles used to recruit on a Monday and a Wednesday, Cromwell used to recruit on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and the weekend belonged to the landlord. It's probably absolute nonsense, but they did both recruit here. And the thing was, when they were actually, before the actual battle went on, they have 2 soldiers downstairs from both sides and a pile of coins. You would be taking them down one at a time. You'd go to the table and you'd decide what side you were going to fight on. You couldn't take that coin. Fathers, sons, brothers, cousins ended up on different sides of the battlefield because it was done so secretively until they turned up on the day. It was like, shit, that's up there. Anyway, but yeah, so like I say, that sign was obviously forced to be taken down, and it's a very old sign. Oh, nothing actually behind it. It's not one of the swinging signs. It's actually on the wall. So,
There we
hope
go.
you enjoyed it.
Cheers, Jay. Thank you very much,
Enjoy
mate.
the rest of
And then you can do a split screen where it turns into royalty doors here. It's crazy right now.
So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho out.